Hi everyone, I'm here to make a quick video for World Benzodiazepine Awareness Day. We're here to raise awareness about an illness that affects tens of thousands of people every year. And this is not an illness that is caused by a bacteria or a virus. This is an illness that is caused by taking a medication that your doctor prescribed to you. I spent a lot of time educating people about this, and so I'm here to answer your top 10 questions about benzos and their associated disability. So number one, what is a benzo? Well, Xanax is a really common one, but the generic name for that would be called alprazolam. Valium is another one. It's also called diazepam. Klonopin is clonazepam, and Ativan is lorazepam. Basically, anytime you get a PAM, you're guaranteed to have a benzo. I also want to make you aware of sleeping pills, Zdrugs like Ambien and Lunesta. Many of us, myself included, developed a benzodiazepine-induced injury or illness from taking a common sleeping pill. Number two, these drugs are addictive. Is this about addiction? No. These drugs can create a syndrome that's called GABA receptor downregulation. It creates a cluster of symptoms, and it's basically a fancy way of saying central nervous system damage and brain damage, which is really what it is, but it is an illness and it's not related in any way to addiction. Number three, well, didn't you do your research before you took these? Didn't you know about this? Yes, I did do my research. I thought I understood the risks. I was planning on taking my medication short term and then tapering off. The problem is the medical literature and the prescribing literature, it does not warn you about the long-term effects or the potential syndrome that these drugs can create. They don't talk about this illness at all, which is why we're here trying to tell you about it ourselves from our own personal experiences. Number four, will this happen to me? Well, the research, there's not enough of it out there to know for sure how many people this happens to. But conservative estimates say that this happens to at least 20% of people who are prescribed benzodiazepines. So there is a possibility that you or someone you know has been affected in this way by these drugs. Number five, how do I know if I've been harmed by taking a benzo or Zdrug? A lot of people don't realize how much damage has been done until they try to get off the drug. There are things that do happen, but people often associate those symptoms with the original condition for which they were prescribed them or something else. Many people are misdiagnosed with multiple sclerosis or thyroid problems or mental health problems when really it's the medication. So if you're currently on a benzo and you're experiencing back pain, pelvic pain, or musculoskeletal issues, if you're getting chronic infections, if you're experiencing different weird personality changes, things like that, it's just such an insidious drug because it affects 70% of receptors in your brain and body. So really, the symptoms could be anything and everything. But when you start to try to get off of the drug and you develop about 50 other symptoms, you'll know. So number six, what do I do if I or a loved one I think has been harmed by taking this medication? Well, the best thing that you can do is to educate yourself. You can go to www.benzo.org.uk and read the Ashton Manual, which is basically the Bible on all things benzo. You can join online support groups. There are online forums, there are Facebook groups, and they all really do a great job of educating and helping people who have been injured by these drugs. The one thing I would say not to do if you think that you've been harmed, number one, don't just suddenly stop taking the medication. That's the worst thing you can do, is to cold turkey or rapidly taper off this drug if you have developed this syndrome. So please don't ever do that. Don't go into your doctor right away and say, hey, I think I need to stop taking this drug. This is a controlled substance, and doctors are getting in trouble for overprescribing these things, and they're looking for any and every excuse to get patients off of them, and they will rapidly taper you off, and then you'll be even worse off than you were before. So get educated beforehand, develop a plan, and then go into your doctor. Which leads me to the next question, unfortunately, which is a common one. What do I do if my doctor won't help me? I've experienced this myself. Find a better doctor. That's really all you can do. Go and find a better doctor, and the online support groups will often provide names of doctors in different states who are more educated about this problem. Number 8, is the syndrome or the illness really that bad? I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm not going to go into that in this video, but many people have compared their experience with this illness to losing a spouse or a loved one, to being shot and not being able to walk, to being in war as a soldier, to having cancer and going through chemotherapy. And unanimously, everyone says that their experience with a benzodiazepine-associated illness is as bad or worse than anything they have ever experienced in their life. And the reason why it ends up being worse for most people is because of the lack of understanding and the lack of help from the medical profession and from family members. And people are expected to function normally when they are mentally and physically disabled and experiencing what can only be described as a torturous experience, day and night, 24/7, sometimes for years on end. So yeah, it's pretty bad. And number 9 is, will I heal? Will I ever get better? If you are currently experiencing this, or you're concerned about the experience that you've had in trying to get off in the past, yes, you will heal from this. Most people heal completely from this. It just takes a long time for your body to heal. And some people do have lasting effects, particularly older people with memory problems or certain symptoms, but it will not be that torture that you may have experienced for years and years on end. It will get better. And finally, number 10, what if I'm happy with taking my benzo? Are you trying to get me to stop taking my benzo? No. In fact, I am trying to support legislation that will help protect your rights so nobody can ever force you to stop taking your benzodiazepine. I also want to protect the rights of people who do want to get off their benzodiazepines, and I want to require their doctors to help them taper in a safe and humane way. I also want to change the laws so that doctors are required to inform you about this. So if you do decide to take a benzo or a Zdrug, you are aware of the potential consequences of doing this. And I think that we can all agree that if we work together on educating people more about this, we can save more people, and we can do more to help the people who are currently disabled with this illness. So please join with us and help us and support those who you know who are currently taking a benzodiazepine. And thank you for watching.